It should be noted that Lisa is absent with notice, and Duncan is whatever they call it, remote or virtual. Everybody else is here at the table. I think we have a little treat tonight.
We do. We have a celebration. I'm going to turn things over to Mr. Courier and Mrs. Criscone, our art teacher.
Three students. We have three students that recently participated and received recognition for New Hampshire Scholastic Art Awards, and under the direction of Ms. Kate Criscone. They are three talented students that we've had that have gone and worked with Ms. Criscone for over the past year and done some really great work that we want to be able to share out with you. We do have one who is with us today virtually, and we want to be able to recognize them. But before we do that, I'd like to turn it over to Ms. Criscone and kind of share a little bit about what the Scholastic Art Awards are and some of the criteria, and share some of the work that the students did in order to receive recognition.
All right, so we didn't actually, can you hear me over here? Oops. I wasn't expecting this. So anyways, we didn't have quite as many submissions last year during COVID. There was still, the art still remained a very integral part of that time, especially during quarantine. There was lots of kids making art from home, doing amazing things together in our groups, in our classes, and we've continued to maintain that throughout this year too. Let me tell you, teaching ceramics remotely was very interesting, to say the least. But kids are still kind of popping on. We had kind of full Bob Ross type classes with kids zooming in, some kids at home. It's been quite a year. The Scholastic Art Program, I'm sure you all are very familiar with. But again, it's a national competition. The criteria, again, obviously, any kind of judgment of criteria for art has an element of being very subjective. But they do base it on work that has a lot of intent into it and meaning, along with the different skill sets they're measuring that up against. So again, putting yourself out there, just simply applying for this program, for these awards, takes a huge amount of guts and confidence. So that beyond anything too, some other kids that might have applied and not have won an award, just a simple act of putting yourself out there is amazing. So first of all, I guess the first one I want to share, Roman's not here this evening, but this is a photograph that he took, came in and edited this photograph in Photoshop. And again, they're looking at composition and color and movement, and he won a Silver Key Award. The next one we have is Miss Ashlyn, who's here this evening. And I should have said too, I forgot to mention in the beginning, Mr. Quinn is also our other art teacher. He had a little newborn baby recently, so he's not with us this evening. But Ashlyn, actually, I'm not sure if we can play this at all. But Ashlyn did this incredible three-dimensional sculpture. So it's not just a painting. And she painted this actually backwards on glass. So it's hard to really see from this small image. But she painted it from the back side. So she painted on glass. So she had to kind of paint that side first. And you can see if you walk around, it's a whole 3D kind of thing that she made. And Ashlyn, you can talk a little bit more about it if you can hear me. Can she speak in here? Can Ashlyn talk?
Yeah, I started it during quarantine and finished it over the summer in my barn. I found the window in my attic, and I used an Expo marker to sketch out what I was going to paint, and then I had to paint productively. It's a semi-portrait of a really good friend of mine, and sort of about like during quarantine, we were simultaneously connected by screens in these really weird ways, but we were also made to be kept distant. And then I ripped up the hood of my sweatshirt and some scrap fabric to make the clothes and the piece. Yeah, that's it.
Yeah, it's phenomenal. And Ashlyn she's taken a lot of independent study classes throughout the 4 years she's been here. She was just accepted into Pratt, which was really exciting. Yep, Miss Ashlyn. amongst other schools as well. And she's just an incredible artist that we're so proud of, and be sad to have her leave. And she'll talk a little bit more, I'm sure, in a minute. But the next one we have up, Miss Molly Moynihan is not here this evening, but this is a ceramic piece that she did. It has a combination of all different kinds of stains and and different glazes, and a little bit of etching in there too, to do the koi fish and everything as well. So it's a clay ceramic platter, which is hard. It's nice, much nicer to see in person, but it was Molly's very first ceramic class, and she won an honorable mention. So those are our 3 this year, and so big, huge congratulations to all 3 of our students. So.
We do have 3 certificates of appreciation for all 3 students that we will be giving them in school tomorrow. So I just want to be sharing that as well. So again, just some of the incredible talent that our students have, and in the working with Ms. Criscone, who's also a very, very talented, and Mr. Quinn, who are really talented art teachers, and to be able to funnel their own students' own creativity into something that can be really beautiful work. So we just want to commend them as well, our art department, for what they've done for our students as well, especially given the circumstances which they've had to work around. So thank you so much.
Yes. Yeah, we want to obviously congratulate Ashlyn and her family, and I was just kind of blown away by the artistic beauty of what I saw. I'm somewhat speechless. I'm not particularly artistic, but I do recognize things that that reveal imagination and talent and endurance to produce what you do. It's just, this is one of the nice activities that we get as board members, to be able to see some of the products of what our talented students produce. We sometimes sit here and discuss money issues and a whole bunch of very important issues, but we don't probably get enough time to really see what takes place outside of our very limited vision. And it was just a privilege for us to see the artwork that was displayed here this evening. And thank you. If any of the people would like to make a little speech, we can allow each one of you 5 minutes. I'm not seeing any motion. I'm seeing 3. I'm only kidding. Right. This time it's a little shorter, so you will not get 15. But anyway, I'm kidding. You don't have to speak, but no, it was appreciated what we saw this evening, and thank you for the work you did, and thank the instructor. I'm not sure what's her name. Thank her. Obviously,
Miss Criscone is the art teacher, and Mr. Quinn.
Yep. Obviously, this probably wouldn't take place without them. So, thank you. Yep, I see some thumbs up. That's enough. And you're welcome to stay and observe our meeting. It does get pretty exciting. Oh, Duncan's going, no. Okay, moving on. Public input. Oh, that was a goodbye. Duncan, you're alone on the screen.
Hi everyone. We're here from the band and chorus, and we just wanted to quickly bring to your attention the fact that the band and chorus don't have enough rehearsal time right now to put together anything for upcoming events later this year. We just wanted to, moving forward, just put an idea into your heads that we need more rehearsal time, and the rehearsal time that we are getting right now, we're not actually able to play. So moving forward, we know that the band hasn't done a lot for us in our high school years, and we just want to make sure it continues to do that for students coming up in earlier grades.
Sorry. So basically all of the other schools in our region and also like the elementary school and just like surrounding schools are doing band and we're the only one who's not. And it's kind of upsetting to know that everyone else is getting like a final band year and all we're doing, like basically what we do in the morning is we sit there and like talk about like what we can hopefully do. And this is us like trying to actually put like steps into motion. We've talked to a bunch of administrators, and like basically their resolution is to like use time for the band teachers, like their planned period and their lunch. And like she said, she wasn't able to do that. So we're just here like asking for like just another step. We're not sure what to do after this.
Mary, do you have?
Thank you.
So I think what I will need to do is follow up with Mr. Courier and find out a little bit more about this. This is the first conversation I've had relative to it, so let me look into it.
Thank you.
Thank you, people. Any other public input? Any,
Mr. Courier is watching online? No.
okay. Now moving on to the agenda. Entertain a motion to approve the minutes of the March 8th, 2021 regular board meeting. See Charlie's hand? Seconded by Mark. Any corrections, additions, changes? Okay, all those accepting the minutes as presented? Looks to be unanimous. Current bills payable. Motion to approve the payment of bills, manifest number 3019. Moved by Craig and seconded by Mark. Any questions of Trish? Any? Yep.
That is it's the fourth quarter assessment, as well as some indirect costs.
I couldn't understand that. What was that?
He's questioning the check to the SAU, and it's for the fourth quarter assessment. We break the assessment into 4 payments.
Thank you.
Certainly.
Okay, all those in favor? Paying the bills? Unanimous again. Superintendent, Assistant Superintendent report. Financial MS 22.
I just wanted to make the board aware that I was going to be requesting your signatures tonight for the MS 22, which is the report that goes to the Department of Revenue for the appropriations actually voted, which you've done. So thank you.
Mary? Moving on, correspondence, superintendent, board secretary, board members. No. Old business, COVID-19 updated travel and quarantine guidance from the New Hampshire Division of Public Health Services. Discussion item. Mary?
So attachment 3 is the most up-to-date information on travel from the Department of Health and Human Services. What we would be looking for is our original plan had been to follow the Department of Health and Human Services guidelines, and just to, I guess, reaffirm that that is the direction that people would like us to continue in. It does change travel, domestic travel in the US, no longer requiring quarantine upon return to New Hampshire. It does still require international travel or cruise ship that quarantine upon arrival in New Hampshire unless having been 90 days out from an infection or fully vaccinated, does require quarantining. In addition, this guidance does change because they are seeing schools have very low transmission of COVID-19, and because of the mitigation strategies that are in place in schools, they are finding that in certain circumstances, you can use 3 feet to determine close contacts rather than 6. Places that might get a little, that you would probably default to 6 is, if you're looking at recess and maybe kids' mask use is slipping down, or if you're looking in the hallways as kids are passing, if you can't ensure that the mask use has been consistent, then you would probably default to 6 feet. But within the classroom, that you have quite a bit of control over the environment, being able to default to 3 feet would limit people having to unnecessarily potentially quarantine. Where it does also get a little interesting with younger kids, we know that sometimes even within the classroom, depending on the activity, sometimes those boundaries can get a little murky. And so, we may have to default to 6 feet at that point, but I think we can look at it situationally. But I would say it is a good piece of information that they've been able to anchor back to what they're seeing. Now, from where we were in August, that we had no real information to use to make decisions. Now they have actual days in school and numbers of kids in school. And so I think it is certainly a testament to the hard work on everybody's part to ensure that mitigation takes place.
Do you need a motion, Mary?
No.
I think it would be helpful to just have it either the consensus or a motion. I would like to be able to communicate clearly to families that, this is, again, if the board is comfortable continuing to follow the Department of Health and Human Services recommendation, that people are aware that this is what the new process is relative to travel. I know people are, certainly April break is around the corner, and people are eager to know what's expected. So I think that's a piece that would be helpful to have some clear board direction.
I'll make a motion to continue to follow the guidelines.
Guidelines set by the state. Do we have a second?
Second.
Do we have further discussion on this? All those in favor? It's unanimous. Go by the state. Hiring update.
So I wanted to share that we have, 2 key positions that we are in the process of trying to fill. For the technology director, we had 10 applications, 5 scheduled interviews, and 4 people interviewed. We do have 3 candidates moving forward. They will be in district over the next week or so, each having a day to kind of learn a little bit more about our technology and our implementation. I hope to have a nomination for the board to consider on April 13th. I feel confident we will have one. The principal interview, we had 15 applications, 8 interviews were scheduled, 6 people interviewed, and we have 3 candidates who are moving to an interview process with parents, students, teachers, and building administration. And from there, we will determine who moves forward for meet and greets, which I'm hoping the board will have on your calendar for March 30th and potentially April 1st. And we will get some times. We'll be certainly looking at later in the day times for the board. But I feel very confident that we will have a recommendation for the board to consider on April 13th, provided all continues to go well.
Thank you. Any questions for Mary? Moving on, new business. Motion to approve the nomination of professional teaching staff for the 2021-22 school year.
So
Moved by Mark, seconded by Charlie.
So you have a list of teachers who we are bringing forward for nomination this evening, and thank you for your consideration. Certainly, if there are any specific questions you have, that would be in non-public.
I would say, and Trish will remember, this is a much abbreviated process compared to 15, 20 years ago. And I think it's better. Okay. Hearing no questions, comments? All those in favor of hiring our professional staff?
Aye.
Thank you.
Moving on, policy, no action. Additional business, members of the board, members of the administration. Sure.
So I would like to share some good news. On Friday, we had the opportunity to offer our staff, including our folks who work in our cafeteria, bus drivers. We also did have the opportunity, some local daycares reached out and we were able to secure some spots on their behalf. So we had 150 people from Interlakes staff sign up to receive the vaccine, 6 from our Fresh Picks cafeteria program, 9 from First Student, and 7 from local daycares. So we had 172 people that we were able to coordinate signups. The pod, or point of distribution, was hosted at Prospect Mountain High School. They were wonderful hosts. It was incredibly well organized. Public Health, Winnipesaukee Public Health did a phenomenal job. That day, there were 788 doses provided. Our 2 of our school nurses were able to participate. Teresa McCormick, I had the sincere pleasure of receiving my dose from Mrs. McCormick. She did a very skilled job and distracted me with the beautiful Band-Aid before she was able to administer it. And Laura Colton from Sandwich also participated, providing doses to individuals. So we really had a wonderful experience. Ashley Dolliff is to be commended for her many efforts to help organize and coordinate. And it truly, there was a giddiness in our district on Friday. The second dose will be on April 16th. We will have the afternoon slot, so we will be doing an early release at 1:30 for Interlakes Elementary and the Middle High, and 1 o'clock for Sandwich. Mr. Hanson?
I was just curious, Mary, so do we have a sense of all our staff district-wide, how many are vaccinated as a percent?
So what we're hoping to do is probably in the middle of May, just do an anonymous survey. You know, it's a personal and private, and it's a health issue. Ask people to let us know so we can just get a sense of what our own herd immunity might be locally. So that is our plan to do that. Because we have had people sign up through different, you know, we had some people because of their age were able to do earlier. We had some people because, like if you're a speech pathologist, that falls under healthcare, so they were in the earlier round. Guidance counselors were considered mental health workers. So it's hard for us to have an accounting of that, but we would like to get a sense of that so that we kind of, you know, have a better idea of what kind of coverage we do have.
Great,
it
thank
fair
you.
fair to say that all those who wish to be vaccinated on that day had the opportunity?
Absolutely. I think the key piece is our staff had access. There were some unique circumstances. If somebody was quarantining, they couldn't go. But I do know that on March 17th, educators were able to sign up, and that did go very smoothly. People I heard were able to get on quickly and were able to get appointments for this week. So I think, I think the access is available. And certainly the slickness at which Friday went was, I think, something the state should be proud of. It was a really, public health did a great job administering 788 doses. There was no line. It was very well organized. It was impressive.
Thank you. Okay. We have our final public input. Okay. We're going to break a record here. That's okay. Actually, we'll be getting out in the daylight. Okay, announcements. Tuesday, April 13th, 2021, 6 p.m. here. And then Tuesday, May 11th would be our next board meeting here. And there'll also be at some point put in an SAU meeting. I'm not sure if that's been determined
I don't think we
yet.
have selected a date yet, but there will be a May
They
SAU
usually
board meeting.
come
May
close
is
to
usually a
that
busy
time.
month.
We have no non-public. Yes, Lisa's not here, but Mark has made a motion to adjourn. Do we have a
Seconded.
second? Second by Duncan. All those in favor of adjournment? We're adjourned
Thank you.
Good night.
at 6:28.